Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a modern way to do the Solomon's knot, and this is what a traditional Solomon's knot looks like. So that picture is a traditional Solomon's knot crochet, or sometimes it's called the love knot as well. It was really open, as you could see on that picture, and it's really quite a wide lacy, very lacy stitch. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that in a different manner. And look what I have made. Look at this beautiful, beautiful blanket. Now, you can see those lines running across as you move it like this. Look how pretty this has turned out. It's got lovely little boxes, it's got lines, it's got that all from one stitch. All from, well, all from the traditional Solomon's knot and a double crochet. Now, as you can see, there's no border on this blanket. You don't need a border. It's perfectly straight. Look at the edges are so straight. Now, this is the top of the blanket. And look, I'm just gobsmacked by it. I really am. Now, I did search on Google lots, and I went through thousands of pictures and I have not seen it done like this at all. Now, I'm not saying it's never been done like this, I just haven't seen it done like this, and it is so pretty. Now, you've got your traditional Solomon's knot in here. I'll show you how to do the traditional Solomon's knot and how to do this pattern. I haven't seen it anywhere. I really haven't, and I've really searched the internet. I really have, and I have not seen the Solomon's knot done in a straight line before. But I have never been able to find any pattern that's using the Solomon's knot other than that older traditional way. Now, the Solomon's knot stitch itself has been around for a long time, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube doing this in the traditional manner with that wide lace. You should give it a try. It's got that beautiful pattern in it like that. I'll try and move that out of the way. So, and if I stretch it open a little bit, you can see how that pattern works. It's really simple. So let's get on with it. So I've zoomed in quite far so that you can see how to do the actual Solomon's knot itself. I'm going to show you how to do that first, and I want you to practice with it. I want you to practice doing the Solomon's knot or the love knot, whichever one that you call it. I'm using a UK 8mm crochet hook. It's quite a large hook. You can use any yarn that you want, and you can try it with the crochet hook. It tells you on the yarn. But when I made up this pattern, not the stitch has been around for a long time. And like I said at the beginning, I've searched Google and I've searched online, and every time I've seen the Solomon's knot, it's always been done in that traditional pattern, and I haven't seen it done in this way that I'm going to show you how to do it. The pattern, it's not the stitch, it's a little pattern way, and I'll show you that again like this. It gets that lovely little ridge running along, and you've got your lines running up and down. It's fully reversible as well, so I haven't seen it used to do anything like this. So to do the Solomon's knot, you're going to start with a slip knot. If you can't do a slip knot, just tie it on to your hook like this. You're going to do a chain of 2, just 2. So 1 and then 2. Now into that first stitch that you did, not where your knot is, into your first stitch, you're going to do a UK double crochet. A double crochet in the UK is a single crochet in the USA. Anyway, into that first stitch that you did, we're going to do a double crochet. So push your hook through, pull your yarn through, yarn over, and come through your 2 loops. So you've got that bundle of stitches. That's your knot. That's your first knot. Now when you do the Solomon's knot stitch, it's this part that you work into. What you're going to do now is you're going to pull your stitch up. Now I'm going to show you how to do the Solomon's knot. You've got 2 strands around your hook here, 1 and 2. Now you're going to wrap your yarn around. So now you've got 3 strands. You've got one there, and that one. When we do the knot, we're going through this space. This one, we're going to work around it. I'll show you that in a minute. So watch the video first, then go get your hook and your yarn, and I want you to practice doing the Solomon's knot. So you're going to pull your yarn through. Before you pull it through, put your fingers over those strands and hold them. Just hold it there. Pull your stitch through. Now what you're going to do is use your other 2 fingers, and can you see that one single strand? That is where you're going to put your hook through. You've got your 2 strands here and this one. So watch the video first, and then I'll go a little bit quicker. I'm just explaining where you're going with your hook. So you've got your 2 strands at this side and this one. Hold it open and go through there. Pull your yarn through, and you're going to do a double crochet. You've got 2 loops on your hook. Put your yarn over and come through those 2 loops. Now that makes your next knot of your Solomon's knot or your love knot. And this is what the stitch looks like. You've got 3 strands here and then a knot. So we'll do our strands again. So pull your hook up. I'll do it a little bit larger so you can see it. You've got 2. Put your yarn around. It's easier if you nip that knot there. Just pinch it. Put your yarn through and hold your strands. You've got your 3 strands. Just hold them up a little bit. Pull through. Then you're going to put your hook through that single one. You've got 2 together down there and 1 single one on its own. Pull your yarn through. Don't worry about keeping the spacing just now. Don't worry, just learn how to do the knot first. Learn how to do the stitch. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So that's you made another knot. And what it ends up looking like, it looks a bit like metal wire. Do you know, like barbed wire before they put the barbs on? That's what it looks like. It looks like a long chain. Just nip your knot, just pull your stitch up, wrap your yarn over, move your fingers up a bit, pull through, and that keeps this stitch open. And you're going to go around through that single one. So we've got 3 there, through the single one, pull through, yarn over and pull through those 2. Pull up, put your yarn over, just hang on to that stitch to begin with. Once you get used to this, you won't need to nip it here. Pull through, put your hook through that single one. You've got your 2 here and your single one on this side. It's this single one. So you can see here you've got 2 that stay together and 1 that comes out to the side. That's the one you're working into. Pull your yarn through. You've got 2 loops, yarn over and pull through to make your knot. Now you can make this as big as you want or as short as you want. Pull up, put your yarn over. You've got your 3 loops there. Just nip it there a little bit. Pull through. Put your hook, this is the part you have to remember. Put your hook back into that stitch around that single strand. Pull your yarn through, yarn over and pull through and make your knot. And you can make it as big and then go into there and pull through, yarn over and pull through, or you can make it small. Pull through and then go in there. Just go into that one if you're doing it as a smaller stitch. Practice this. Please practice this. Do it in different sizes. Just practice so that you get the hang of doing this stitch without nipping it too much. Then through that space and yarn over and through your loops. Pull up your stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now nip it there to keep these two apart from that one. So you've got two here and one there. Pull through and then use your hook and go back into that space. Pull through, yarn over and pull through. You've made your knot. So we're going to ignore that first knot there and we're going into the second one, not the space. We'll call this the space. In between the knots, we'll call it the space. We're going into the knot. Take your hook and just push it through. If you turn your blanket, you'll see two stitches on the top. Push your hook through those two stitches like this. Pull your yarn through and you're doing a double crochet. Yarn over and pull through those two stitches. What you're going to do now is do your Solomon's knot. So pull up a little bit. Now remember, on this blanket, the Solomon's knot, this part is a lot shorter than the traditional one. So just pull up, put your yarn around your hook, put your finger in there if you have to. Pull your yarn through. Don't let that loop there slip right down. Put your hook back into that space around that single strand. Pull through. That's your little part of your knot. That's a little part of your stitch. This is your knot. Yarn over and pull through. And that's you made a little Solomon's knot. Move to the knot in your chain. Move along one and go through and do a double crochet. Go through the top of it and pick up your two strands at the top of that knot and pull through and do your double crochet. Now do a Solomon's knot again. So pull up, yarn over, pull it through that loop and then go back in and go right through. Make sure that knot comes up your hook and pull through and yarn over and through. And that's you made your Solomon's knot. There it's there. Go over to your next knot in your chain. Into the knot. You're going through the top of the knot. Pick up those two stitches and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. Pull up, yarn over, do your Solomon's knot, pull through and pull through there. Don't worry if they're not exactly the same size. Yarn over and pull through. So don't worry if they're not exactly the same. They don't need to be. Make sure your chain's not getting twisted. And you know the part you're going through because the bottom's got like a crossover on the bottom and the top has got this sort of U on it. You're going through the top two loops of that knot. Just go into there. You will get quicker with this. It just seems a little slow because I'm showing you what to do. So pull through and do your double crochet. Now it's Solomon's knot. Do your Solomon's knot. Go through. And you should have practiced your Solomon's knot at the beginning. Go over to your next knot in your chain and do a double crochet. If you're in the USA, that's a single crochet. Do your Solomon's knot, pull up, You can nip it there to make a hole for yourself, pull through, then go back, don't yarn over, go into that space and pull through, then yarn over and do a double crochet at the top. Go to your next knot, double crochet, Solomon's knot, pull up, yarn over. Remember and use this part of your hook. Don't keep your stitches away down there. Remember and use this part. And through. So you've got your Solomon's knot. Move across to the next knot in your chain. Now we're not using the spaces here. We're using these little knots in between these chain spaces that you can see. There's 3 strands here in a knot. Then you've got 3 strands and a knot. So this is why I've called this blanket the little love knot blanket, because it's a little love knot stitch, or the little Solomon's knot. Push through the top of that knot, so you've got 2 strands, pull through, finish your double crochet, pull up, do your Solomon's knot, and move along to the next one, all along your foundation chain. So I've got to the end, my last knot, or that was the very first knot we made. And what you're going to do is, you're just going to go through the middle of that knot. Just pull your yarn through and do a double crochet at the end. Now what you're going to do is do your Solomon's knot now, pull your stitch up. Now the one on the end, just make sure it's just that tiny little bit bigger. Pull through and do your double crochet. Now what you're going to do is, to keep your edges straight and you know where you're going to go at the end, this is the stitch that we're going to go through when we get to this end again. So on your ends, put a marker in, just put a stitch marker through those stitches. You can do it to this end as well. Ignore the edge, just ignore the edge. You're going to skip that space and work into this double crochet. So do your double crochet into there, into the hole, then do your Solomon's knot. And don't make them too big, just a little ½ inch. Then skip that space and work into this double crochet. And this is all this blanket is now. Solomon's knot, and skip the space and work into the double crochet. Do a double crochet into that one. Stretch your stitch, pull through and do your Solomon's knot. So you're going to skip the space and go into this double crochet here. Put a double crochet into it. Now I know it sounds a little bit sort of long-winded, but once you get this done, you are going to love this. You are going to love making these blankets. So you'll do your Solomon's knot. Don't do it too long. Skip this space and go into your double crochet. As the blanket gets bigger, you'll see that as a rib, and you'll know exactly where you're going. You're skipping the space and go in a double crochet into that double crochet. Do your Solomon's knot. Skip the space and go into the double crochet. So your double crochet is right beside the knot there. You've got your double crochet. Don't go into that knot, go into the double crochet, this one. And that is all you do. That is all you do. You do a Solomon's knot, skip the space, and in, just pull that knot across. You'll have a knot sitting up there, into the double crochet. Pull it up, do your Solomon's knot, skip that space. So the space you're skipping is this one here. You're skipping that knot and into the double crochet. And you're going to do that all the way to the end. So I've done my last Solomon's knot, and remember I had my clip in the long part of that last Solomon's knot there when we turned. Take your marker out, because this is where, oops, you're going to go in that 3-strand part and do a double crochet, not into the knot, not into the knot, into the 3-strand part here. You're going in, just pick up, go through 2 of the strands and do your double crochet on the end, and that keeps your edge nice and straight. Now you're going to do a Solomon's knot. Remember, do this one a little bit bigger, do this one about 1 inch or so big, and go in and do your Solomon's knot, and into those 3 strands put your marker back in until you can get the gist of what you're doing with this. Put your marker back into those 3 strands. It's going to help beginners keep the edge right, because you're going in through 2 of those strands on the way back. So that basically works like a treble crochet. So turn your work, turn it around, and we're going to work back the way. And again, just ignore the edge. Now that's the space you skip, and there is your double crochets all sitting on top of each other, and that's your knot, that's your Solomon's knot. So you're skipping this Solomon's knot here, this space, and go into there. The easiest way to say, ignore that part at the end, skip the space and go into the double crochet. Do a double crochet and then do a Solomon's knot all the way to the other end, and that is just a 1 row repeat. So you'll skip that space and go into that double crochet, not that knot up there, into there, in there, and go through, right through, and do a double crochet. And if you're in the USA, that's a single crochet. And pull up for your Solomon's knot. Don't make it too big. Oops, go in through there. Remember, and go in through that part, that stem of it. Skip this chain space and go into the double crochet with a double crochet. Solomon's knot. Skip the chain space and into the double crochet. And that's what you're going to do all the way along, and you can see that little pattern starting to show up. I'll do a few more rows on this lemon, and I'll show you what it looks like in lemon. A few rows on this yellow, and look how pretty this pattern is. It's a little bit like a herringbone in the middle, but you get these really lovely lines showing through. It's a beautiful textured stitch as well, and I'm just so surprised. I've never found it done like this before, using that Solomon's knot or the love knot. And this is why I'm going to call this little blanket the baby love knot blanket. So to finish the top of the blanket, your last row of Solomon's knot, we're going to do them much smaller. If you look on the bottom of the blanket, it's kind of quite taut, where the rest of it is quite stretchy. And it's quite stretchy on the top. So your last row, try and make your Solomon's knot small. So we're going to skip that space and do a double crochet into here. And then just pull a tiny little bit. Put your yarn over, and if you pinch it, you'll be able to make a much smaller stitch. Just go into there, just as you've been doing, and pull through and do your knot. And then skip your space and go into your double crochet here, into there, right through, and do that. And then the next one, just pull it a little bit, just a little bit, do your yarn over, pinch it in here just to keep it open a little bit, and then push your hook through and pull it through, and that's going to tighten up that top part. So skip your space and go into your double crochet. So just make sure that your last row is a much smaller knot that you make, a much smaller stitch. Just push it through. And as you can see, that's going to bring your top in, and it's not really stretchy. It's not as stretchy as the rest of your blanket, and it's going to make it look like the bottom. And that's the bottom there. And that's going to make it look the same as the bottom one. Now give it a try. Just give it a try. And you can make your mind up what you want to do as a border. As you can see, it all comes out really, really nice and straight like this. And it's straight along the bottom. It's nice and straight along the top. You can stitch some nice frilly lace around it. Put a bow on it if you want. It's up to you. Now go back to the beginning of the video and work along and practice how to do that Solomon's knot. And from there it's quite easy. A Solomon's knot, a double crochet, Solomon knot and a double crochet, and that is the same row each repeat, just one repeat row, and you get this pretty blanket. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.